Welcome back to the deep dive. You know, if you've ever had that moment of panic, stepping off a plane, realizing you need to communicate, maybe something important, but your vocabulary feels limited, well, this deep dive is definitely for you.
Mhm.
We're not doing a full language course today, just to be clear. We are really analyzing the strategy behind those rapid learning travel guides.
Exactly. Our mission here is to look, beneath the surface of basic survival English.
Mm-hmm.
Why do expert travelers and these minimalist language courses pick these specific simple phrases over others?
Right.
We're trying to extract not just the words, but the linguistic architecture of necessity, if you will.
Okay, let's unpack this then. We found the best guides really focus on efficiency. They prioritize high-frequency nouns and very simple verbs.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll examine the specific language strategies for what we think are the four absolute foundations of travel interaction. Taking a taxi, hotel check-in, ordering food, and crucially, that safety net for emergencies.
Sounds good. Let's get into it.
Right. Situation 1, taking a taxi. Arrival strategy.
Okay.
Let's start literally the second you land. We're tired, maybe a bit overwhelmed, and you just need a ride. The travel sources we looked at, they all agreed on the core phrase for getting transport. And it's almost like they dismiss standard sentence structure entirely.
It really is pure functional language. We see the phrase, taxi please, described in the sources as, well, the perfect request.
Great.
It's subjectless, pretty much universally recognized, and, immediately actionable.
Yeah.
Why do these guides skip something like, I need a taxi?
Yeah, that's a good question because I need feels pretty simple too. What's the strategic advantage of just the noun and the politeness marker, please?
Well, I think it comes down to speed and universality.
Okay.
When you rely only on the target noun, like taxi, you bypass any tricky verb conjugation. You avoid potential cultural confusion around how direct to be. You just establish the context instantly.
Makes sense.
And then once the driver pulls over, the destination is handled with equally economical language.
Which brings us, to the second key phrase. To the hotel, please.
And what's fascinating here is how the source material often structures the interaction. The driver's prompt, hello, where to? It's often simplified like that globally.
True.
So the traveler's response needs to mirror that simplicity. By sticking to that minimalist directive structure, like, to the airport, please, you really minimize the risk of misunderstanding. Especially, with background noise or different accents.
Right.
The structure just relies on the simplest preposition to and a really common travel noun, hotel, airport, station.
Very lean. Okay. Situation 2. At the hotel check-in. The politeness softener, maybe? So you've made it to the hotel. This is like the organizational hub for your trip, really important place. The desk interaction, it requires you to communicate ownership, I guess, and intention.
Yeah, in this scenario, it definitely elevates the linguistic stakes just a bit. We move from a purely transactional request, like getting a taxi, to a more social interaction that needs a touch more formality.
Right, you need to be polite.
Exactly. And the sources identify 3 key phrases here, but the first one is probably the most strategic.
And that would be, I have a reservation, followed by, can I check in and can I have the key?
Yes, exactly. But let's just dive into that first phrase for a second. I have a reservation. The guides really strongly prioritize this structure, using the simple verb have over other options like, say, I booked a room. Why do you think that is?
Well, I have a reservation sounds very definite. Like it's a fact. It exists now.
Precisely. It's undeniable, it's declarative, and it immediately signals legitimacy. It kind of cuts through potential confusion right away.
That makes sense, yeah. But as the source material showed in its little role play example, that phrase immediately triggers a necessary follow-up from the receptionist, right? Something like, welcome, your name, please.
Absolutely. And the preparation guides have to account for that next step.
Yeah.
Knowing I have a reservation is, well, it's only half the battle. You must be ready to state, my name is, whatever your name is. This dialogue pattern sort of teaches the learner that some simple phrases are really just conversational keys. They unlock the real information exchange.
Ah, right. So if you're preparing using these guides, make sure you can say your name clearly, slowly, even phonetically if you need to.
Definitely good advice.
Okay. Situation 3. Ordering in a restaurant. Let's call this the modal verb strategy.
Food, the fun part.
Yeah, time for sustenance. The sources were very clear that communicating what you want, but politely, is crucial in a restaurant. Doesn't matter what your fluency level is. And here's where we see that critical use of modal verbs. to soften the command.
Yes, the structure I would like is really the golden nugget here. We see the distilled phrases first, can I see the menu? And then the order itself illustrated by examples like, I would like chicken, or I would like fish, please.
Okay, let's analyze that choice. Why does the source material seem to overwhelmingly prioritize I would like over the maybe simpler I want?
Well, this is where that linguistic strategy really shines, I think.
Okay.
The sources identify I would like as a critical formality softener. Using this structure, it signals politeness, signals respect, even if your tone or your pronunciation or maybe your speed isn't perfect because you're stressed or you haven't practiced much.
Ah, so it builds in some politeness buffer.
Exactly. It maximizes the chance of, cooperation from the wait staff. The clarity of the noun is still important. Chicken, fish, water. But the politeness of that modal verb would helps ensure the transaction goes smoothly.
That's a huge takeaway for you listening. It's not just about being understood, it's also about signaling some social awareness, even with basic phrases.
Mm-hmm.
Now, a point of critical questioning here, if I may. I noticed the source prioritized ordering food and water, but completely skipped the end of the meal. Why did they list something like, can I have the bill? Or check, please?
That's a fantastic point. Really good question. And it raises an important issue about resource allocation in these minimalist guides, right?
How so?
Well, the source material, by omitting the request for the check, it sort of implicitly implies that this interaction is lower stakes.
Okay.
Kind of assumes either a universally understood hand gesture, a little pen scribble in the air,
Yeah, I've done that.
that will suffice, or maybe that, unlike ordering food or asking for help, the urgency of paying is low enough that a basic communication error won't, ruin the experience.
Right. Less critical than getting food or help.
It seems like a strategic omission. To keep the core list really compact and focus squarely on immediate needs like food and water rather than the more administrative tasks like payment.
Interesting. Okay. Situation 4, emergencies. High impact vocabulary.
Yes, serious one.
As travelers, we have to acknowledge, sometimes things go wrong, and being prepared for emergencies is probably the highest value preparation you can do. The language here, it has to be direct, simple, and able to cut through chaos.
Absolutely. This scenario is strictly about maximum impact with minimum words. There's zero time for would like or, any flowery phrases here.
So the sources list 3 absolutely critical phrases every traveler should just internalize. 1, help. 2, call the police. And 3, I need the doctor.
Notice the common theme there. High impact words, often just one syllable. Help, call, police, doctor. And the key verb here is need.
Right. Not, I would like a doctor.
Definitely not. Why is simplicity so paramount in this context? Well, the advice from the guides is explicit. In emergencies, you must speak slowly, use simple words.
Makes sense.
You're under duress, the person listening is likely in a high-stress situation too, and if there's loud environment or significant language gap, only the most fundamental words and sounds are going to penetrate effectively.
So your focus should be purely on getting that core noun across police, doctor, help, and using that declarative I need structure to communicate the urgency.
Exactly. Survival language at its purest.
Okay, let's do a quick mini review and application just to pull this together.
Good idea.
So for a taxi, the essentials are taxi, please, and then to the destination, please. Like to the hotel, please.
Simple. Direct.
At the hotel, I have a reservation is key, followed immediately by being ready with my name is.
Right. The two-step process there.
In a restaurant, you start with, can I see the menu? And then order using, I would like food drink. For example, I would like chicken. Or, can I have water, please?
Politeness built in.
And for emergencies, the absolute must-knows are help, call the police, and I need a doctor.
Critical vocabulary.
Okay, let's frame this like the fun quiz mentioned in the source material. A quick test of instant recall for you listening.
All right.
Question 1. You're hungry in a restaurant. You've decided what you want. What's the key polite phrase structure to use?
Thinking about politeness, that would be I would like,
Yeah.
followed by the food item, like I would like chicken.
Perfect.
Mm.
Question 2. You arrive at the hotel desk. You have a booking. What's the first thing you should say to signal that?
That initial declarative phrase, I have a reservation.
Excellent. You've got the core ideas.
It shows how memorable these simple structures can be.
So what does this all mean? We've kind of established that successfully navigating these essential travel scenarios, it isn't really about memorizing a whole phrase book, is it?
No, not at all.
It's more about internalizing a structural strategy. You need those basic nouns and these highly efficient, simple verbs. The power lies in those modal verbs like can and would like for formality,
Hmm.
and that direct verb, need for urgency.
Precisely. And, if we connect this back to the bigger picture, while this selection of phrases focuses really heavily on immediate needs, food, shelter, safety, the one linguistic area we haven't really touched on, which complicates almost every traveler's life at some point, is measurement and quantity.
Ah, that's fascinating.
Yeah,
Numbers.
exactly. If the phrase for fish is simply, I would like thigh, what happens when you need 2 fish? Or maybe a kilo of fish. Or think about asking for directions that involve specific distances, 2 blocks, 5 kilometers.
Right, that simple minimalist structure. It kind of breaks down the moment you introduce numerals or units of measure or fractions.
It does. And that, perhaps, is the next level of complexity waiting for you to explore on your own. How do you handle quantities simply?
A great point to ponder. Think about that the moment numbers enter the conversation, the rules of simplicity start to shift.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we hope this deep dive has given you a useful, structural shortcut, maybe some confidence for your next trip.
Hope so too. Practice those core structures.
We'll catch you next time on the deep dive.